Hi guys, welcome to part 4. I haven't really done much to it. It's a full day later, so the olive has dried fully. It should have by now. Today I am going to start experimenting, which could be a surefire way of screwing up, so we'll just have to see how that goes. And I've done some of the silver just because it was just getting painted on in the regular way, and as it was just getting painted on without any real special sort of stuff, there's no special technique or anything, it was just straight painting on how we did the green and the olive. I thought I'd just knock that off out of the way, and today we'll try to add a little bit of weathering. So just a quick comment on paint again. If you can find the model colours, they are exceptional. They're not pre-thinned though, so if that's not your style, just be aware of it. And they're extremely good. They have a big range, 300 plus, and they have like the Panzer Aces, which is a smaller range designed specifically around tanks and armour. For military, excellent, absolutely excellent, second to none. Airbrushing, I still use Tamiya though. Although the Tamiya range needs to expand itself greatly because there's just not enough correct colours in the Tamiya range, but I find it the easiest to airbrush. But for your fantasy stuff, I do love the Reaper ones because they're $3.25 a bottle. They're basically 17ml versus half ounce. Great. So one's 17ml, the other's half ounce. So if anyone wants to work that out, brilliant. But they're both very good paints. The others are thinned, some a lot, some a little. So it does do a different style when it goes on. It's just something to pay attention to, but they are cheap. And there's a big colour range. So it's both are good. Okay, so what we're going to do today is send out an invitation to Mr. Cockup, because this has a good chance of actually doing something weird. But, what the hell. So what we've done is, this is our base leaf green colour, and this one is a moss green. And what we're going to do is we're going to wet an area with our base colour again, and then in the centre of that we're going to add a little bit of the green. We're not going to try to mix it completely, we're going to try to leave the green in it. And hopefully as it dries you will get a bit of a mix of colours that are still in the same range, both greens, and that they will blend hopefully together rather than just, so like on here we have a hard green line and a hard green line. Hopefully these two will blend a little bit and get a soft blend when it dries, hopefully. Or the alternative is we'll have the leaf green with a great big green blob in the middle. So I will find out tomorrow if this has actually worked. Now both of these are pretty thinned down. These are quite watery. So the other trick with them being watery is I don't want them to run everywhere. And knowing just how much of this to use is more art than science. Or to be completely honest, it's probably more luck than anything. But the effect that we're going for is, these things are pretty beat up. This is a Space Marines bike. So, he's belting across alien landscapes, he's causing trouble, causing a ruckus, going to bars, trying to pick up chicks, even though he's about 14 feet tall, which makes it hard, Also the fact I'm not entirely sure that Space Marines have any form of genitalia. So their bikes and their gear is going to get pretty beat up and pretty well worn, which is what we're going to do. We're actually going to do a fair bit of weathering to this vehicle. But this, like a lot of weathering when you put it on, is like either rust, which we're going to do, or it's stuff that's over the top, you know, like dirt and stuff like that. But what we're doing here is trying to show the actual paint fading, or the actual paint not oxidizing, because that's a different type of colour, but that the paint might have been one colour and it's changing, or it's adapting, or well, that over time the paint itself has reacted. You know, not just by being covered in something. It's not just got dirt on it. It's physically changing from the harsh sunlight and the harsh work that the vehicle's been put through. So we don't want uniformity. That is definitely something you don't want. You do not want uniformity in this, because when paint's affected by sunlight and fades and stuff like this, it doesn't do it in a uniformed way. So you sort of want, you definitely want random. You definitely want random. But at the same time, we don't want to change the complete colour. We're not trying to paint it mossy green. We're just trying to give it some variation, some change, so it's not just solid, before we do some rust and before we, you know, add the dirt and that which gets splashed on. We're trying to just make this change, this adaptation that from the rough use in harsh environments. It's like, yeah, you do get all that normal stuff, all the mud and the chips and stuff, but you do get that change to your paint, and that's what we're really trying. Because like here, the green's nice. The green is very nice, and if I was doing a new bike, I'd be very happy with it. But he's not new. He's been barreling around. And if you think that it might be a bit strong, like that one might be, just come back. There you go. You know, if there's any harsh edges you don't like, just dab your original colour. Be very careful not to drop the bike into the paint, because that would suck. Make sure they're very watered down. Both of these are quite thinned. If you use it, if it's thick, you won't get that effect at all. Because if it's thick, it'll just start to repaint. And we're not trying to repaint. You know, that's the big thing to watch for. Don't be afraid to add more of your base color again. You know, if you're looking at it and you're going, oh no, it's looking too mossy, or it's looking too, you know, whatever your new color is. You know, don't be afraid. You know, start and just paint straight over it. Just remember, there's so many ways to weather a vehicle. And go looking. You know, like really, go looking. If there's roadwork near you, go look at the excavators, the graders, or the vehicles that are working there. You know, they collect mud. They got tracks. A lot of them. They collect mud like tanks probably do. You know, look at where the mud collects on the tracks. How thick it is, or how thin it is, or you know. Look at trains. Trains are a great source of weathering. They weather like nothing else. You know, so look at the world around you. You know, so much inspiration and ideas can come from it. Hell, look at your dad's beat up car. Just don't tell him you think it's beat up. Doesn't matter how bad a car is, dads are usually proud of them. It also avoids you getting into any lectures as well. Well, you didn't care when you were 16, you borrowed it to go to the prom and try to pick up chicks, you didn't complain about it then. Okay, Dad. You go, girl. Okay, not too bad. The joy of it being thin is like here where it's a little thick. You can splotch over it and not remove all the colour that's below it. If it's thick, if you use your paint and you keep it thick, when you paint straight over it, it just covers up the colour that's below completely. But keeping it thin, and I probably would have, you could even water it more than I did. It's okay. Definitely experimented, you know. And like anything, when you try this, I think I got better as I went along. So side B is a bit better than side A. But that's okay. Because we are going to add a lot of weathering, but this is just, you know, just one little part to it. But there it is, it's just finishing off drying at the moment. We have still got to start the proper weathering process, and I still have to paint the gun in the holster, the shotgun in the holster. I haven't done any weathering on the foot pads, and I haven't started on the flag or the Space Marine yet. But the actual weathering of the bike is coming up, where I'll do some of the tyres will get done, do a lot of mud there, splash some mud up on it, and then we're going to chip and weather the paint. So that's it for now. Keep at it and happy modelling. Please tell me that was good.